Almost didn't make it today, guys. I almost didn't make it. We are live. My name is Josh. If you are new to this broadcast, this is our daily vlog every single weekday of the document. If you don't know what the document is, you'll have to ask in the chat because it is the code word for what we're doing here. And we're doing it live. We're building in public. And so far, the bulls are running and the bulls are running hard. First thing we always have to do is click on our own chat. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that. There we are. And we get our chat up, which is all our great people, all the operators in the house jumping aboard to talk about business, building businesses, and everything that's going on. So the bulls are running. Let's start with an update. What's going on with the business? What updates do we have in the past day? Honestly, not a whole lot. So we listed in List Easier Records yesterday and a little bit in List Easier Books yesterday. Yesterday morning was half the day was spent packing and getting organized. Spencer the Oracle is off today. Today we are shipping, prepping, getting everything ready. I see thousands of items here lined up beside me of books ready for Spencer the Oracle on Monday. So today is more of a prep day so that she can list and do her thing without any distraction or any problems on Monday. So that's the plan. Today is just a clean up, tidy up, get everything organized. Every Friday is going to be that way for us. And we are going to update you on the numbers now. So here are the numbers. That's the only thing that's really changed here. That's really the only thing that's changed. We had, I told this yesterday, but we had 4 pallets come in of books. Those are starting to go up on List Easier Books. So we're moving, we're rolling. The bulls are running. I feel really good about it. So here's what we're gonna talk about the numbers. Number 1, here, 2 accounts, List Easier Books and List Easier Records. You can follow us on eBay if you're interested. Watch our progress. We have a total of 1,787 listings in both stores. So combined, we are at 1,787 listings. We have $46,697 worth of product listed. As of today, we have been live with the document for 5 days. So the document has been producing live for 5 days, and our total revenue is a shade under $1,000 Canadian. This is something I said right from the beginning, but I am fully expecting sales to turn off here for a little bit. When we first started listing, we got a lot of sales. I would imagine that until we get those boxes scanned in, those items scanned in, which will be today, I would expect things to be a little bit slower. Until we have trust. I mean, this has happened in every account that I've ever started that, I get a boost and then it kind of slows down for a little bit while we build our trust. So I think once those items get scanned, we're going to start pushing out like crazy because we've got a lot of really good items up. The stuff we're posting is awesome. It's really, really good. So a question I had yesterday, let's address a few questions. Number 1, why is this number in Canadian and this number is in American? That's because that's what we get it reported to us as. So eBay reports this number to us in US dollars. So we automate it and roll the number in to the overlay. So we have 46,697 USD. If you want to transfer that to Canadian, times it by 1.4. If you want it in CAD. Over here, we get this number reported to us in Canadian dollars. We're not going to change this at the daily rate every single day and do all this math back and forth and everything else. We just report it in Canadian because that's what we get it. We want this whole process automated. We preach automation in your business, not complication. So we're giving you the numbers as we get them. But if you want to, this is hard to do. If you want to convert this to US dollars, it's multiplied by approximately 0.7. Okay, if you really want to get accurate and find the daily rate and it's a couple dollars here or there, I mean, go at it, but we're not doing that. Our focus is right here. Okay, this is the only thing, the amount US listed that we put up, this is the thing that matters. Everything else will fall in place. We're finding the best inventory that we can. We're buying it in bulk by the truckload, and then we're listing it. So we want this number to rise up, to go as high as possible. Everything else will fall into place. So this is our focus, and this is why we call it the road to 100 million. This is what the document is all about. This number here, we're trying to build that number. Somebody asked me yesterday, can you put on the screen what your mortgage cost is, what cell phone costs, inventory costs, all these other things to roll it down? That's too much work. We always operate, and this is something I've said since I've started on YouTube with these e-commerce businesses, is we always operate at a 30 to 40% margin. This is going to be no different. So 30% net margin for us. So take this number here, and that number, whatever 30 to 40% of that is, that's what we will be taking in profit. To put all these numbers in, it's overly complicating the thing. It's not something that you and your business should be tracking on a daily basis, maybe on a quarterly basis, certainly on a yearly basis, but definitely not on a daily basis. So it's a redundancy that we don't want to include. The whole point is to be optimized, to show that you can do this too. For us to take an extra hour to put in all this data that I don't think really most people care about, certainly not operators, it's an hour that we lose in productivity, and that will keep this number lower. So these are the numbers we give. You can convert this one over here, times it by 0.7, that'll give you the USD. This number here, you can times it by 1.4, that'll give you CAD, but we report it as we get it. We automate everything, and we rock and we roll, and we stay focused on what matters, and that's this. This is what the document is about. This is what the document is all about. Sounds like an accident on the highway. I can hear sirens. So yeah, net margins typically in an eBay business land between 30 and 40%. We've had this discussion across YouTube for years. Some operators will say that their margins are in the 50s or 60s. Some will say they're only doing 10%. It depends on inventory, but for our business and the way we run it, it always lands at 30 to 40%. Always, always, always in that range. And that number will be clearer when the accountant gets back to us at the end of the year. But we can run this number, the number that matters most in the document, we can run that very, very high with the systems that we have in place now with good inventory. And that is the focus. The focus is to run this number, the document number, as high as possible until the system breaks. And then when the system breaks, we look and we see, what do we have to do next? Do we need to hire? Do we need to level up on our automation processes? Do we need to start getting some of this equipment involved as far as packing and shipping is concerned? I don't know. But for now, we're going to run this number as high as we can until it breaks. We're expecting to operate. Oh, they're coming here. Well, that's not good. Fire trucks are coming here. Oh, they're a couple houses down. Hopefully everything's okay. Hopefully it's not at the school. It distracted me. So this is the number that we're going to focus on, is the document number. Get it as high as possible till the systems break. And then when the systems break, we are going to see what we need to do in order to and make the changes we need to make so that we can continue to scale. I had something else I was going to say and I forgot. Hit the like button if you're enjoying this. If you're an operator, if you're building your own business, founder, if you're following along, if you're taking a little shred of the document and applying it to your own business so that you can grow and build your business too, please hit the like button if you like what we're doing here. So that's what the whole thing was. And I had something else super important that I wanted to say and I forgot what it was, which happens when you're live. This is what happens when we're live. Oh, yeah, here. I remembered. We are expecting to run the first 6 weeks at losses for a number of reasons. So, number one, we have a big inventory front load. So we bought all our inventory off of revenues of our other businesses, right? I have my own Shopify business and my own e-commerce business. Super Dave does, and then Travis also has his own business. So we use these revenues to kickstart the whole thing. Now, we are close to buying or paying off those first buys, but we will have payroll and everything else. So we're expecting approximately 6 weeks where we're running at a loss, and we're totally prepared for that. Then conservative estimate, 6 months of running at approximately break even, good weeks, bad weeks, but approximately break even. And then we're going to see that growth, we believe, in the 6 to 12 month mark, and that's where we're really going to start taking off. So when you start a new eBay account, I am under the impression, and this is my opinion, things will start off slow. You have to prove yourself. You have to go slow. We're trying to do that the best that we can. Shipping on time, doing all the things, build up our reputation on eBay. And then really, this is a long game. Like, we're showing up every day to do this. We're going to be doing this every single day. We understand that this is not something that's going to reward you immediately. This isn't going to be immediate gratification. It's long term. We can see where it goes. We can see the chart for years from now. This isn't linear growth. It's going to be hockey stick growth over time, and we're here for it. So this is incredible. The number is blowing my mind. There were years where I didn't list that much when I first started, and it's been done in 5 days. And if you even do 10% of what we're doing, you've got $4,600 or $4,700 worth of product listed. You know, it's incredible. So we're working 4 days a week to achieve this. With the 5th day, the founders work a 5th day as well. The technical founders work 7 days a week. Let's be honest, 12 hours a day on the software. But this is where we're at. So I'm going to say hi to everyone. Snoopy Collector, hello. Welcome to you. Good to see you. I want to take my hat off, but my hair is a bit... It's good enough. It's good enough. You can see my 5 head. Luke Coin says, hello, Josh. Charlie, welcome. Good to see you. Lead Belt Emporium, good Friday to you. Good Friday to you as well, Lead Belt. Welcome, welcome. Missy B says, good morning. Sitting here listening and taking photos for List Easier. I've taken over 2,500 photos since Monday. See, these kind of numbers were just not even conceivable even a year ago or 2 years ago. It's just absolutely incredible. So Missy, throw me a like. Give me a like, everyone, please. Give me a like. Let's get this out there. Although I don't know if that's to everyone's benefit. Maybe you shouldn't, because we don't want too many people using this. We don't want to create our own competition. John Worldwide Weber says, good morning, Josh. Good morning to you, John. Welcome, welcome. Chris Rose, the man. Good morning, Josh. It's Chris from Phantom Comics. Welcome, Chris. Welcome. Chris and I spoke the other day, and Chris was saying that he's just kind of blowing through his inventory. Like, it went way quicker. He did more than he thought he was going to be able to do. So these are all great problems to have. That's what we want in our business. That's what we want. Jen says, hello, Josh. Jen, welcome, welcome. The man, David Varner, in the house, says, hello. Good to see you, David. Den Decor Depot says, good day, Josh. Awesome. Good day to you. I hope you're having a good day. Look at all the positivity and the energy in here. This is incredible. Will add a follow. We got Etsy back. Boom. Awesome. Been fighting promoted errors on eBay most of the week. We'll probably redo promoted campaigns this weekend. Yeah, I think it sounds to me, Den Decor, if I were you, I wouldn't do anything until the 13th or 14th. Just my opinion, because they have to change the entire format of how the site operates to implement their new promoted listings thing across whatever. So they're changing a lot right now. They're changing how listings are viewed and the information that is on listings and all this other stuff. So I'm not doing anything. We're not doing anything. We're not going to react to this until after the 13th, because we are all under the impression that there's a lot going on behind the scenes. They're changing things as they said they would. They gave us a lot of warning that they're going to be taking more money from everyone. So we're just going to wait and see how that all shakes out before we make any changes. Flip It Good says, hello, Josh. Good to see you. Flip It Good. Welcome, welcome. Trailcam T says, when listing vintage t-shirts and List Easier, is it better to list them under men's clothing, shirts, t-shirts, and check yes for vintage, or use specialty vintage, men's vintage clothing, t-shirts? I don't really know, Trail Cam Tees. I can't answer that. I will say this though, for vintage shirts, this is my opinion. I would say better in the vintage category, but I don't actually know that. When Flex launches Trail Cam, Flex will choose those categories. So it will choose optimal categories. I believe Flex is being beta tested yesterday in the UK. And we haven't had any problems with the UK. So I think it's very, very close. It doesn't seem like a lot of errors are being generated on the American side anymore. The beta testers have been quiet. UK beta testing, nothing coming back. But when that launches, it should, as far as I understand, provide you with the optimal category. So, and that, it may, again, this may be different dependent on the shirt. I don't know. So when we move away from batches and the individual items, the Flex multi-listing item or multi-item listing flow, whatever, that would be a better answer of your question. Or, just go ahead and ask ChatGPT. Just cut and paste that whole thing in there, put it in ChatGPT, and then put the prompt in there that I want optimization on-site and off-site in this case, and just see what it says. Just see what it says. And if you want, you can further refine it and really get it to optimize the category. But it will give you a better answer than I can give you because it will act on data and I'll be acting on opinion. Lilac Seller says, good morning all. Welcome, Lilac. Good to see you. Joe Samard from Northern California. My home away from home, Joe. That's my home away from home, honestly. I wish I were there. Although you're probably getting snow in the Sierras. It's like 68 degrees here. It's actually 67 degrees, but I said that this morning to my kids. I said, wow, it's warm this morning. It's like 67 degrees. And they're like, oh, 6'7". So I always avoid saying 6'7" now around the kids. Paul and Britt, welcome, Paul. I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome, man. Good to see you. I'm happy to see you again. What's the eBay page your listings are on so that I can follow? Okay, I'm going to put them in the chat. We're going to put them in the chat. Super Dave says, don't go to these pages because we can't close them. So I got to make sure I don't close it. Minimize. Here's the first one, Paul. Coming in hot in the chat. And the second is being copied now. I should probably put this in the description every time. It would make things easier. Minimize, don't close it, because we need those windows open. So these are the two stores. I just put them in the chat, but it's List Easier Books and List Easier Records. Dendaker Depot says people need to figure their living expenses for themselves. That's a bold ask. I think it comes from a good place, Dendaker. I think, I understand where the people are coming from, that they are skeptical and rightfully so. People should be skeptical. They might not know me and they're saying, how do I know you aren't spending $100 million to get $100 million for the product? So basically, like we've seen that before, where people will make all their money on YouTube and they're basically breaking even on everything that they're doing, but they're trying to gain respect and authority and everything else. So I think it comes from a healthy, skeptical place. My only thing is I'm not spending the time putting all those numbers in, daily rate calculations, all that other stuff. We always come in at around 30 or 40% on our businesses. I can give a more accurate read on that when it comes back out of the accountants. But until then, it would become very difficult, and it's way too much work to be tracking this on the daily. Way too much work. I mean, every business should be creating a P&L sheet at the end of the year. I've done that for every business I've ever started. I've made a profit and loss sheet. And with that profit and loss sheet, you can see every single category, where your spend is up, where your spend is down. It gives you an idea of where your money is going. My highest expenses have always been eBay fees and shipping. They're always my two biggest ones. Eric Bressy says, it's morning, let's go. Welcome, Eric. Welcome. Good to see you. Eric from Ohio. Biff says, why do these people care about your business minutia? Yeah, the concept is a thumbnail sketch. It's plenty for YouTube. Well, I mean, we're in our own defense, Biff. We're doing this. Oh, it's plenty for YouTube. Okay, I get what you're saying. So Biff is saying this is more than enough data and information for YouTube. I agree with you. Uh, you know, I want to be open and honest as much as possible. So when we get these numbers quarterly, like we're like, hey man, I can't believe we spent like 50 grand on shipping. I'll just say it. I got no problem saying it. This is an open book. But to track that every single day, we got to be mindful. Employees are expensive. This computer that I'm pointing at, that computer are every day except for Friday in full operation. So anytime we do something like we take hours to crunch numbers, that doesn't benefit us. It doesn't really benefit you. Anyone who's an operator here is like, I don't really need that information. Like I understand the process. I understand what's going on. Clearly this is not, green screen, all this other stuff. So, and I don't recommend anyone track that on the daily. You will either burn out or you'll be wasting your time unless you can automate that somehow through QuickBooks, where they can automatically put it in categories. And then if you want to see it on the daily, so be it. But it really doesn't help the business. It just satisfies your own kind of curiosity. The document is focused on this. That is the focus for us. I hear you, Eric. Eric says the foot pedal is amazing. Where has this been all my life? Haha. Your new hat, $200 million. Okay, we'll hit both of those. Eric, for a long time in my life, I was very stubborn. So I always would work harder. My identity was wrapped up in working harder. I would always work harder as opposed to innovate. I wore it like a badge on my shoulder that I can work harder than anyone else. The problem is working harder than anyone else doesn't scale. But little things like a foot pedal, where you're like, oh my gosh, this makes my life so much easier. I'm so much happier. I can do more. You scale more. So the other way to do it would be I'll work longer. But now the way technology is, and everybody here knows this, you cannot get the same output that AI is providing. You cannot do the same. You can't get the same accuracy. You just can't. It's impossible. There's no argument. And then, why not make your life even better and just have a foot pedal and a camera setup and have organized shelving and all this other stuff. And when you start implementing all this, you're like, you know what? I like it here. I feel like I'm in control. It's organized. It's clean. I'm proud of it. It's operating well. It's sleek. It's all the things you want out of a business. And it's just those little innovations that make a huge, huge difference. It makes a huge difference. And the $200 million hat, that's you guys. I get to wear that hat because of you. So I have the 100 here. This hat is going to get retired. This 100 million listed, we're just throwing out big numbers everywhere, but this is the number that you guys have listed. This is what you guys have all listed through List Easier. $100 million worth of product onto eBay. This is old news now. We're now at 200 million. So you are all billion businesses. You're growing. So the number has grown. So the new hat hasn't arrived yet. So this one needs to be hung from the rafters. This is it. This was a major milestone that you all accomplished. All of you accomplished this. This isn't us. This is all of you. That has to get hung from the rafters. It's over. It's in its last season. Afternoon. It is frickin' windy. Don, I think you're in St. Catharines. It's windy here too. It's gusty here. Don Wright says, oh, nice. You're almost at 1,000 already. Congrats. Thank you. This number here is slow right now. This one is going to slow right down. It will pick up again. I think my opinion is that new accounts get put in a box until they can prove themselves. So there's nothing we can do about that outside of our control. So we just focus on the document number. And that's the one that this is the one that we want to really hit hard. In 6 months' time, so when we get to June, when we get to June, first little bit of June, we got to be mindful of where this number is versus where we're projecting it to be. So we are not expecting this number, or I'm not. I'll speak for myself, not anyone else. I'm not expecting this number to be at $5 million in 6 months. The scaling of the document, see, I'm putting it in there now. You have to be in the club to know what I'm talking about now. But the scaling of the document, a lot of it is going to happen towards the end as we, bring in more people. So like the last 5 years or 4 years, it's really going to start going up once all these systems are fully implemented, fully in place, and the business is really spitting back cash. David Varner says, question, why didn't you simply rename your old store and take advantage of what you have established? Because that's a really good question, David. That is a very good question. My store, my own store, WHS Stereo View, is a sole proprietorship. I cannot change it to a corporation. Even tax-wise, it becomes difficult because I have to, sell the asset and then buy the asset through the other company. So it's just not going to work. This business has 3 partners. The document has 3 partners as well. List Easier has 3 partners. The document has 3 partners. So again, this is a C Corp with 3 founders, 3 directors if you want. The other one is a sole proprietorship. So eBay doesn't allow you to sell businesses or transfer ownership or anything like that. So, and there's at least 19,000 items, almost half the store on my business where the listings aren't optimized. So what will likely happen is once the recycler or whatever is ready, we just push it through and put it up. And I'd be willing to bet that sales will 3x and I will still get paid the same amount at the end of the day. So, and it also serves, my business has around $2.5 million worth of inventory in it. That is a nice buffer to have in case we run into a situation where we can't get inventory, but we are very mindful of that. It's like an emergency warehouse just in case. And then we have it there so that this will never, ever stop. But we're fully vested in this. This is good, David. You opened something up. You always do this, David. You always do this, and I'm thankful for it. I came to the realization with WHS Stereo View that I could only grow in a linear fashion. That's okay. That's actually great. Like I will continue to grow in a linear fashion and implement all this technology and just keep growing in that manner. But the document can scale exponentially. And I'm in a unique position where I have the document and my own business, and one is scaling linearly and requiring a lot of effort. The other is going to scale exponentially. So the exponentially scaling one will pay me less. I will do worse in the short term, but in the long term, I'll do better. So that's why I had to make a choice to wind one down. The other thing with List Easier, the software now. So customer support is required. Super Dave does a lot of customer support. I do a lot of customer support. Doing the live videos, doing all the stuff in the background, insurance, payroll, taxes, all this other stuff. All this stuff has to be done as well. I simply couldn't accomplish everything. So in November, Super Dave and I were talking, and I said, Super Dave, Super One. I was talking to the Super One. You guys remember Super Dave? Super One, we have a problem. I can't do both. And I've come to the realization one has to die, and it's going to be WHS Stereo View. Even though I put my blood, sweat, and tears into that business, I just simply can't do both. I feel like I'm doing a bad job everywhere. And now I'm getting to the point where I feel run down, and that's not where you want to be. That's how my business has always been with WHS Stereo View, is just grinding. I don't want to be in that position. So here we have with List Easier software, many people depending on it for their own income. So now all these people are expecting and depending high level, high bar service. For me to do that, the other thing had to go away. I just couldn't do it. So it was like a very unemotional decision where I just said, well, it's time for it to go. It served its purpose. It led me here. I feel comfortable with this decision. Time to move on. So, but a little bit, yes, moving from the secure to the unknown. But I feel like I have purpose here. Like I know I'm doing the right thing. I know I'm doing the right thing. I have energy. I can operate at a high level. This is where I need to be. I went on a tangent there, David. I went on. This is the old days, like when I go way out on a tangent. Jovial Juggler says, "Happy Friday, all. Has the noggin healed from your spill a while back?" For the most part, I was at the dentist yesterday, Rhonda, and I think the broken nose, like I can breathe better through my nose, but it's causing my gums to dry out because I think at night I'm opening my mouth. That's probably something to do with my septum. Other than that, ringing in the ears really bad, really bad. That's the only thing really lingering. Aside from that, I feel 100%. But there's always that high-pitched diesel whine. The super diesel, when the super kicks in, it's that whine is in my ears all the time. Lucky Fine says, "Good morning. Account's looking great. Happy Friday. Thumbs up." Thank you, Lucky Finds. Appreciate you. I love documenting this live. I love knowing that other people are doing this. It's just freaking awesome. Guess the Draw says, "Were you behind the bubble wrap?" No, you're Guess the Draw the whole time. Guess the Draw says, "Someone said the other day that List Easier is addictive, and I totally agree." I think it was you. It can be, it definitely can be addictive, but it just feels good to have a good process in your business. And one thing I hope you all are doing is enjoying the weekend. Like once you get caught up, I know for a lot of people, they got to get through death piles, they got to get organized and everything. But one of the things that's really nice about the software is you can take your weekend. So you can work hard on your business Monday through Friday, but you can take Saturday and Sunday off. Ship if you need to, if you need to do your shipping, do your shipping. I mean, that's an obligation you're always going to have to do, but you can take time off to enjoy yourself. I have been more mindful of that. I'm trying to golf more. I'm trying to take more vacations. I'm trying to spend more time with my kids while they're young. All these things that I think before List Easier, I was not able to do it. I was just grinding and barely getting by and feeling like I had no control over my business. So if you can do those things, go out for a dinner, like just think about the things that you used to enjoy and you didn't have time for since you started your business, and then just go and do them. So that's what I've been doing. And it's made life so much better. So much better. Missy B is saying, "Congrats to day.for on getting the account back. Lag, period." Flip It Good says, "Question about clothing. Do we use a tape measure in the pictures or just enter measurements? I heard you mention that a tape measure would not show up in the listing." Yeah, you can use a tape measure. Flip It Good. I have always found my personal preference has been a yardstick because a yardstick looks clean and professional. When you take pictures with the yardstick, it doesn't look like it's someone taking it, on their bed or whatever. I've always liked yardsticks for measurements. When you put the yardstick in, it will take measurements. You can put them in if you want, but it will not say for sale a women's blouse and a yardstick. It will simply give the measurements and what the clothing item is. It knows. And, you only need 2 or 3 pictures with the yardstick in it anyway. But that's what I've always done. And when I buy stuff, I buy clothing on eBay too. I prefer a yardstick. I like it better than tape measures. It's clear. The numbers are big. It looks aesthetically pleasing. Den Decor says, "ChatGPT automatically prompts what platform you'd like to optimize for." I didn't know that. That's interesting. Mike Seller says, good morning, Josh. Currently relisting my current listings to optimize them. Have seen an increase in offsite traffic. Oh yeah, totally. Totally. And that's the golden goose out there. So we're all fighting for the traffic that comes to eBay, and should I lower my price and then I can get the lowest to highest search, and why are they changing this and that? But once you're off site, like once your account is a trusted account, you're built up and everything is going as it should, the golden goose is off site for sure. All these people who are looking on the LLMs or speaking to LLMs, looking for products on Google, just talking to Google, I do it myself. Today I looked up, I was watching Steve Aoki talk about his collection of long box CDs, of all things. And his prized possession is an Alice in Chains long box graded CD box. And you all know me. That's my favorite band. I've always loved them. They've gotten me through dark times and bright times. So I started looking up long boxes, Alice in Chains long box CDs, and on eBay, and I couldn't find any. I found other stuff, but I couldn't find the Alice in Chains long box. So I went to Google and I looked, and sure enough, Google had one indexed, clicked on it, and it took me to an eBay listing. So sometimes even poorly constructed listings will do better on Google. And again, this person had the item specifics filled out. Title was weak, admittedly, because there were lots of characters in it. So eBay probably downranked it in its own system. And there was a little bit in the description. So it was unique enough that Google indexed it. And, I didn't end up buying it, but I wouldn't have found it otherwise. What's up, 10 ply? I don't get that reference. I'm thinking it's either Letterkenny, Red Green, or you explain it to me every time, but I haven't seen any of these shows other than Red Green or Trailer Park Boys. Paul and Britt says, yes, sir, we've been busy. We have 7 kids, man. Good for you. I wish I had more. Also started the Whatnot thing. I still watch daily. I just don't make the lives. Sorry, buddy. Don't worry, Paul. Man, I can barely handle 2 kids. I love my kids. I can barely handle it. It's a lot. I wish I had more. 7 is a journey. Like they say at 3, you give up because now, they don't fit in one car really, and they have all this. 7, you're on the next level. You're on the next level. So good for you. And thanks for watching. And also, Paul, this is what most people do. Most people will put this in the background while they're working and doing their thing. They're looking for, just sometimes background noise, sometimes inspiration, sometimes things to avoid, sometimes, ideas. And they're just, they got me going in the background, which I'm A-okay with. I'm radio sometimes. Lag says I'm up to 8-9. We've moved from 6-7 to 8-9. Beard Picker says, so everyone has a nickname, Super Dave, Travis the Brain, and Josh. What the heck? We need to make one up for you. Chat, make your suggestions, laugh out loud. People have been struggling with it. It hasn't really anything kind of stuck. I don't know. Josh, the J's don't rhyme. I'm usually really good at coming up with them. They come really quick, but I don't know. J's don't have that. The jive turkey, Josh. Kevin Hawthorne, our man representing the great city of Lakeland, Florida. He is here representing. Good afternoon to you, Kevin Hawthorne. Good to see you. Lenny K says, spare parts, Josh says, Bearded Picker. Lenny K says to Trail Cam Tees, use men's clothing, shirts, t-shirts for 95% of your inventory. Only use specialty vintage category if you have truly rare, high-value vintage pieces. Yeah, I don't know. I would ask ChatGPT. The Bookman, the big library bookman, Josh Graff, coming at us live from Oklahoma, says good morning. Good to see you. 405 Picker says good morning. Good morning to you, 405 Picker. Is 405, and is that a San Francisco area code? I think so, right? Is 405 a San Francisco area code? Or is that 415? I don't know. There was a time when I was younger That I don't know why, but I was trying to memorize them all. Record Crate says happy Friday with 3 stars. Good to see you, Adam. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Always good to see you. Andy Reno, Mr. Andy Reno says, what's going on, Mr. Galt? Now the challenge is finding merchandise. It is. So that's, I'll expand on that, Andy. That's a good point. We do have a large contract, which is about roughly 250,000 to 300,000 pieces, good pieces. We have that contract pretty much a lock. It's a lock right now. So that deal, the first shipment of that deal should leave on January 21st. That's going to give us a fair bit of room. I believe we have 20,000 or so items in the queue here, ready to go. Yeah, about 20,000 items, maybe a little bit more, 22,000. It's really hard to kind of judge. We did the numbers. I don't remember what they are. And already, so Spencer the Oracle in 4 days has done almost 10% of it. So once that one comes in, that should keep us for the next, I even want to say year, I would think, maybe year even. So that'll be a big one once we start going on that. And then we can pick and choose a little bit more. We were looking for a big deal like that. Then we can pick and choose. And that's drip inventory. So it's kind of pay as you go. We're going to do 2, 3, 4 skits at a time, pay for them, have them shipped, and then do it again, do it again, do it again. So it's not this massive upfront cost. Get her done, Josh, says Chris D. Josh the boss. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you, man. It's been a while since I've seen you too. Chris, you've had that, the chess piece. I think that's what that is, right? You've had the chess piece icon for, I would say, over 10 years. Maybe longer than that. Bearded Picker says, my assistant ChatGPT tracks listing dollar amount daily and sales versus goal. Year over year is weekly. Weekly recap is important. Daily provides focus on frog. Yeah, Eat That Frog. Beard is reading Eat That Frog. Recommend it to everyone. For us, it's just the document number. We've done it. We're in muscle memory now. We'll look at our quarterly profit and losses. We'll report it audibly, like we'll tell you what it is. But the document is this. This is what we want. Josh, the document. Big house, Josh. You guys are rocking. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the support. That's awesome. I was expecting, people, when we started reporting these numbers, because I know it's going to be slow in the first 6 weeks or so as we get traction. I was expecting people to be like, it's not gonna, like, the kind of, but no, man, everyone is very supportive and it's awesome. It's awesome. And it's really awesome to see other people do it as well. Like all of it. Doesn't it feel like we're all kind of, this is overly dramatic, and I did watch a lot of Gladiator when I was younger. I really liked that movie. Doesn't it feel like we're kind of all linking arms and walking towards the village together? Let's go. Let's go. Don Wright is between London and Sarnia. Okay, I got you. I got you. I got you. What's out there? Is that what's the Stompin' Tom Connor's song about breaking your back picking tobacco in? I don't know why I'm thinking Hagersville, but it's not what it is. You know the song. It's From Where You Are. Oh, I forget what it's called. Great Stompin' Tom Connor's song. Great Stompin' Tom song. Okay. I got sidetracked there. J. Doe, John Doe, or Jane Doe said 2 million in sales per year. I track profit and loss on each item on a daily basis. Nice. Takes me less than 5 minutes a day. Know your numbers and you will succeed. I agree. Awesome. Wow. If you're doing 2 million in sales a year though, you are certainly ramped higher than what we are. We're only 5 days in. That is awesome. Half Beaks says photos taken and getting my first list easier listings up today. Awesome. 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 Let me know how it goes. And Half Beaks, if you have any questions, reach out to me in email. We're going to, if you have anything at all, reach out. Like says, Josh, do your business partners all live close together? How did you guys link up? That's a good question, Pancakes. Okay, that's a good question. So when I was doing storage lockers, I did a storage locker where I had a ton of clothes. And if you guys remember, I hate clothing. But there was good stuff in there like jerseys and jeans and all this other stuff. And I was watching, do you remember Heather and Adine Hook? Adine was like 6'7", 6'8". They lived in Grand Rapids, Michigan. They used to do video. I absolutely love that couple. They are the nicest people. I've talked to them. When I was first starting out, they were reaching out. They are just the best people. And I was kind of like their number one fan. Like I wanted them to succeed really, really bad. I think it was like my son's birthday and they bought him a gift card or something. Like they're just such good people. So I would comment on all their videos. I was really into what they were doing and they were scaling up their business. And I said in the comments section, hey, if anyone is in the Ontario area, like Southern Ontario, I have a huge storage locker of clothing. I'm not bringing it down to the States. I'm not bringing it to my house. And I need to get rid of it. And Super Dave was in the chat and he said, well, I live in Southern Ontario, but it's a small town. You probably don't know where it is. And I said, well, let's see. We started talking back and forth and he lives literally 5 minutes away from me. It's like a 5-minute drive. So the deal didn't end up happening. I think I bulked it and sold it all. He got busy, all these other things. Then he bought a few things from my store. He's like, hey, come over. I want to meet you. Come over. And I said, I was stressed. My life was falling apart. It was hard at the time. And we finally got together and we started talking about business and, we just hit it off. He started building an eBay business. He started working on automation. I watched him build the automated systems and, by his own admission, they were weak and a little bit buggy, but they worked for what he needed them to do. And we were just kind of like, I think we can build something amazing here. Like this is something. This is really something. So he knows Travis the Brain. They've been childhood friends. Travis is one of the best that's out there when it comes to programming and artificial intelligence and all these systems, data management. So we contacted Travis. He lives on the other side of the country. He's fully remote. And we were like, hey, are you interested? He said, yeah, I'm interested. I think it's a great idea. I think this could be something. And then we all just kind of were like, we're doing this now. And it has evolved from that point. So that's kind of how we all linked up. It was really the one who kicked it off was Adine and Heather Hook from Grand Rapids. Those two. And I've tried to reach out and they haven't gotten back to me, but I would like to repay them the favor. Hello. What are you talking about, B-Nudes? What are you talking about? Anthony Thomas Experience says, good afternoon, everyone. I'm planning on opening another eBay store, but with eBay making their changes, should I wait until they do their changes to open a new store? I wouldn't. Me personally, I'm quick with action and then patient with results. I would just do it now. Like, just do it. Let's do it. Let's start it up and let's start listing, and whatever happens, happens, honestly. Just quick to action. I wouldn't even think about it. I would just start it and get going. Amazon Seller says, does List Easier use multiple AI engines or just Chat GPT? If not, is there any reason not to? And is there any chance that Chat GPT cuts off access? We use multiple LLMs. The reason for that is in certain categories, certain LLMs perform better. Also, we use it as a failsafe. So if one is not responding or bungles the information or is sending errors back, we send it to another. So we use multiple Amazon Seller. I don't think, and I'm not really concerned about anyone cutting off access. We're at the enterprise level on all these LLMs. I think we were. Dave could come in here and like maybe correct me, but we're definitely in the top 500 when it comes to token usage on one of them. So it's or we were at one point. So they're gonna be like, no, we're not. It's this number, but it's something close to that. So I don't think that it's not something we're super concerned about. Christy says, good question. Amcell. Oh, Amazon seller. Nice. Eric Bresci says, I'm learning to set goals, but consistency and habits and have a work-life balance. Yeah, I think the best way, Eric, this is going to be other people's mantra that I have absorbed, so it's not original to me. But when you are working, it is work time. So when it's time to work, you work. You set it up so there are no, this is from Atomic Habits, there are no barriers to you doing your work. So if you have a photo setup, that photo setup stays there forever. We don't take it apart and put it under the table and then use the same spot for packing. You have all these steps in place. So you just start from one end and go to the other. And when you're working, you're working. And when you're not working, you're enjoying your free time or you're having your leisure time, then you're not working. So that's how I've always tried to do it. My thing that I always had to be careful of is I keep putting more and more and more on my plate, which feels good sometimes for a short period of time, but then I can't do it forever. I don't know if it's an age thing or whatever or what it is, but consistently year after year, day after day, every single weekend, every single holiday, it starts wearing me down. And I recognize that in myself now. I've always been good to muddle through, but I become miserable and exhausted, and I don't ever want to get to that point again. That's how I used to operate, and I don't want to get to that point ever again. D-Box says, started list easier late last night and listed around 80 items. Sold one before noon today in less than 12 hours. Nice. Nice. You'll be doing 100 items a day, or 200, 300. Once you get the roll of it, you'll crank them out. Bearded Picker says Letter Kenny is 10 ply. I've never actually seen that show. I'm the worst when it comes to current social media things that are on TV because I never watch it. Amazon seller says Steve Aoki was known in the NFT community as the official worst investor known to mankind. If he bought an NFT, it was a red flag and time to sell. That's funny. NFTs. Oh, I saw. People were spending millions on those drawings. They thought it was going to be the next Bitcoin. What a disaster. Lag says, wait, we're supposed to be working during this. Chris says, bean. I do say bean. Silver Tongue Josh says, Bearded Picker. Right on. Hamilton the Great says, Worldwide Weber. I was born and raised just outside of Hamilton. And I also have Hamilton as my icon. Yep. Biff says, I've just retro optimized 4,000 listings. Next tier is 6,800. I just can't afford to wait. I can do 200 a day in a couple of hours. You got the work ethic, man. That's a grind. That is a grind. That is a grind. Josh the Conductor. 405 is Oklahoma, says David Bales. There's David. How are you, my man? David and I spoke at Las Vegas at eBay Open. David is a great guy. Great guy. And I think, if I remember correctly, your wife is a police officer. So everyone, watch what you say here. Watch what you say. Watch. In it to flip it, I'm goofing around a little bit. It's Friday. In it to flip it says, yep, I'm working and you're in the background. I'm here for the updates on Flex. This, keep an eye on the launch, and I appreciate Josh's commentary. Awesome. Yeah, the Flex is very close. The update I got was that the beta testers in the UK, like the UK beta testing, has come back with no issues. So we're right now, haven't heard any issues from US, no issues from UK. There were only 9 items left on the punch list. I would imagine that punch list is empty. So probably just waiting on feedback from the Australians, the Australian beta testers, or the beta testing for Australian listings to see if that's okay too. But I would think so. So 405 is a notorious California freeway to me. I don't know where it is. I know where Highway 4 is. That's my favorite. Then it leads into Ebbets Pass. 405 is in Oklahoma. Oklahoma, the USA. David Bale says, good to see you, Josh. I hope you're doing well. Everything is well with me, David. It's good to see you too. Welcome, man. Welcome back. I'm going to fall behind. This is how I used to do it too. Used to always fall behind. D-Box says, I spent way too much time researching and finding the right price than I did listing it. It was so fast. If you guys solve the pricing, I will adopt you. We're almost there. But Flex is the next thing. So the pricing, like I said, now that you guys have got us, first it was 100 million listed. Now we're at 200 million listed. Now we have our own data. We have purchased data, or we've purchased market intelligence. We have market intelligence. We've acquired market intelligence. With all this, these are solutions we're working towards, but we just got to get Flex out. Flex has to happen first before we really start looking at anything else. Like, this has got to be our narrow gauge focus. Oklahoma. Everyone's saying Oklahoma. 405 Highway 10 is the worst traffic in America, last I checked. I don't know. The worst highway for me is Highway 1. I feel like puking driving on Highway 1 in some spots. Eric Bresci says, just curious, do your YouTube profits fall into C Corp or sole proprietor? Eric, honestly, what YouTube profits? I'm not even kidding you. If YouTube pays like $100 every 2 months Canadian, I'd be surprised. Maybe $50 a month. So there's virtually nothing. In the last 10 years, I think I've earned $380 on YouTube. It's negligible. It's nothing. In fact, I turned it off for a long period of time because it was a pain in the butt to have to report it on taxes. So, when you do live videos, you don't really get paid that much. You do it because you love it, or in this case, we're building the document and we want to do it in front of everyone. If you want to earn money on YouTube, in many cases, not all, so I'm not going to paint it with a broad brushstroke, but you optimize for entertainment. You trap people with hooks. So you get them upset, you appeal to their emotions, you get them enraged. If you are going to document, you're building for trust, you're building for relationship, you're building for community. That doesn't pay you, and it does not get views. It does not get views. Everybody in this chat right now or most people are operators of a small business, and they're looking to scale that business or operate it efficiently. That's pretty much the entire chat here. Maximus, Josh the Gladiator, welcome. Primo Chemo and Spam Banshee. Good to see you both here. Welcome. I caught your live in 2 parts, and I commented on it, but half in the morning and then half in bed at night. I was like this with my phone. Falling asleep, but I couldn't miss it. I was so tired. Beard King Picker, Alex says, laugh out loud. Jumping Bean, Josh. Nice. Gladiator Galt, says Chris D. That's awesome. Gladiator Galt. Beer King Picker, can't stand listing clothing. Me too. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Even good pieces, I don't like it. And I don't like the returns, and I'm not good at it. But some people do love it, and then they're in the right spot. I mean, if you love clothing, you should be doing it. But my limiting bottleneck was that I just hated it. I hated every second of it, like with a deep passion. And then I thought to myself, why am I doing this? If I hate this so much, I should just go back to my old job, hate that instead, and get paid more. So I had to have a... What? Lag? You love hustling hook videos. I remember when he had to fight someone? A Dean? I don't see it. Really? Really? Pig on the Porch says, I did 550 records yesterday. List easier. Biggest problems is if photos. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. So Pig on the Porch said, did 550 records. Biggest problem I had with List Easier is if I forget a photo or I do too many photos, I can't auto assign. You can still click the first one, click the second one, create listings. So if you do have that, But also, pig on the porch, when you add your photos to List Easier, you can skim through it. I always have a system where, like when I was doing 2 photos per thing, I would make sure that if I was looking down a row, the whole row, all I could see was the back of the cards. If I was going down, or sorry, the column, if I was going down the column and it was all the back of something and then one was flipped around, I knew I either missed a picture or I took too many. So that's how I used to do it. And then I would just delete it and then I could auto assign. But yeah, the auto assign feature is the best. But you can manually assign if you want. There's a way to do that. The List Easier origin story, Spam Banshee loves it. That's awesome. I got to rock soon. I got to get out of here. I got so much I got to do. Are they still selling clothes in the warehouse they got? I have not been following their account. As of 4 months ago, I think they were bleeding it down and they were maybe at 1,300 pieces. I think they're out of the warehouse and back at their place. Beanut says, wait, what? Adine and Melinda, good morning. Good morning, Classic Phase. Yeah, Adine and Melinda, they were great. Bearded Picker just listed 10 on Flex, no issues. I think, guys, this is a good sign. US beta testers, no issues. UK beta testers, no issues. Haven't heard anything back from Australia. God knows what time it is there. The punch list had 9 yesterday, which is the things that need to be fixed. I don't know where we're at, but Travis the Brain needs a break. Our brother needs a rest. David Bales is doing it, brother. You don't have to worry. She is retired now and does school safety. Awesome. Guys, you can all speak freely. We are no longer under the authority of the law and David Bales. Beer King is listening and listening. Awesome. Awesome. Flex is amazing. Y'all don't understand the power that is coming your way. Thank you, Scott, for saying that. That's kind of you. Thank you. A lot of work. What's a flex, Scott? Gigolo Josh, says Chris Rose. Nice. Good afternoon, says Wisconsin Silver Bull. WI Silver Bull. Way from back in the day. Way from back in the day. Exciting times. 2026 is going to be amazing. Nobody believed us, WI Silver Bull. We were screaming from the mountaintops. Nobody believed us. They believe us now. Foghorn Lake says, howdy all. 100 watching. That's improving. Wow. Really? Hey, that's awesome. I don't even look anymore. That's incredible. We broke 100 watchers. That makes me feel really good. That's awesome. Like says, yes, someone tried breaking in their house or something. Don't remember exactly what happened. Wow. Adine's a big guy. He's skinny, but he's a big boy. Timothy Doyle says, I'm selling out of a storage unit. As of yesterday, I saw a video from her. What? No. Hustlin' Hooks? No. Okay, last two. These are the last 2 comments, and then I got to go. We're going to talk quickly about what Flex is. If you already know, Todd says silver. Todd knows. Todd's been with me for a long, long time. We've been talking about silver. He's seen the runs in rhodium. The ones we didn't get were silver and platinum, but we're getting silver now. And platinum's not far behind. It's always the last one to the game. Rhodium moves first. Silver, platinum towards the end. But I think we got a lot of room still. Silver 500. What is Flex? Flex is where it will pick the category for you. So Flex is within the List Easier platform, and you can take a picture of a hat, a book, a bicycle, a vacuum cleaner, a pog, a door handle. You take all those things, you take pictures of them all, you import the pictures into List Easier. It gives you category. It fills out all the item specifics for you. It does everything, and it does it super accurately. And it optimizes the listing. It does everything that List Easier already does, but you don't need to batch items anymore. So if you have a death pile of random things, or you like to sell random things, let's say you're a part-timer and you want to scale into full-time, this is what that software is for. This is the most in-demand thing that we've had, is having it so that you can list a random assortment of individual items. So that has been a big learning curve to get the accuracy metrics as high as we feel they needed to be, right? So we launch, we want it to be accurate. And I think we're there. Scott, are we there? Are we there? Oh, they're on Instagram. Okay, Timothy, they're on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram. I would like to see them again on YouTube. I really like them. I want them to win. They have the entrepreneurial spirit. They're good people. They're good family people. Like, I really, really want them to win. I hope they come back. I'd love to see them. Exactly, B-Nudes. One-offs, exactly. An assortment of different one-offs. And it, so that's what we've been working on. I kind of rushed it towards the end because I got to run into Mississauga. But once Flex launches, which is hopefully very soon, I'll do an entire episode on Flex and we'll talk about it the entire time, all the nuances and everything else. I have not used it myself because it has been with the beta testers, but I'm sure this weekend I'll get a chance to use it as well. Dave and I are going to talk about Flex later on today. I think it's there, but then, something bad could happen. So knock on wood. Okay, everyone. I appreciate you all. Timothy, can you do me a favor? Can you send me a link to their Instagram? Because I would like to talk to them. If you could send me an email, Timothy, I think we've spoken a few times over email. If you could send me an email, I would appreciate that. I'd love to reach out to them. Okay, everyone. Have a good weekend. We'll see you on Monday for... Oh, we have to include those days as well for days live. So 6, 7, 8. It'll be day 8. Even though we didn't work for 2 days, we're going to count it as day 8 on Monday. We'll see you on day 8. Document out.